To start off our program, we are going to create a new library project using cargo, new, and then I'm going to call my program chat, and then we will use the lib parameter. And now we can change into that directory, and I want to just go ahead and clear out some of this filler code. Some of the first things that I want to do is add a couple of dependencies that we are going to need throughout this project. The first one is async standard, latest of version 1. I would like to use Tokio. We're going to use the latest version 1. And then we can also specify the features that we want. And in this case, we want sync. I also want serde version latest of 1 and features equal derive and RC. And then the last one, serde-json, the latest version of 1. So, async standard we are familiar with since we've already used it. Tokio is another collection of asynchronous primitives, which is kind of like async standard. It is a well-known and very widely used crate, and it's a pretty large crate. So since we only need one component from it, we can specify features, which is what we did, and then we said, hey, we want sync. So what cargo is going to do is it's only going to provide us sync from the Tokio crate. That way we don't absorb in everything else that comes with Tokio. We only get what we need. And then we have serde and serde-json, and these are crates that give us easy and efficient tools for generating and parsing JSON, which is what our chat is going to use to represent data going over the network. So now we can create a few additional files and directories to kind of finish setting up our project. So inside source, we're going to want a new file, and we're going to call it utils. And then we also want a new directory called bin for binary. And then inside of this folder, we want our client, and then we want another folder called server, which is where all of our server logic is going to be. And in this case, we have a couple of files we'll need. We'll need a main, we'll need a connection, we'll need chats, and we'll call this one chats map. So client is a single executable file. Let me clean up all of these really quickly. Alright, so our client is a single file executable for the chat, and our server is the executable for our server, which will be spread into those 4 different files we created. So now, let's take a look at our utils file, and we can start defining some types that we will use throughout the application. So utils is going to contain our utilities that we will use throughout our application. So the first thing we want is we want our standard error, and now we're going to create a couple of types. So our first type is going to be our chat error, which is going to be a smart pointer of a box using an error, and it's going to have a send, sync, and a static lifetime. And then we're also going to create a chat result type over a generic T, which is going to give us a result or a chat error. So as we use our own error types, we will see that the question mark operator, will automatically be able to convert different error types into a chat error by using the standard libraries from trait to the type we implemented right here. So we will use send and sync bounds to ensure that if a task that is spawned on another thread fails, it will be able to safely report the failure up to main. So hopefully that makes sense, and if it doesn't, you'll be able to see it a little bit more as we continue our program. But now that we have something set up, in the next lecture, we will begin working on our chat's protocol.